Hey, real quick, this video is part of my 12 days of Christmas celebration. And basically, to celebrate the fact that I've been on YouTube for more than a year and the fact that it's Christmas, I'm going to be doing daily videos for a little while so that you guys can enjoy that. However, I also want this to be a bit of a gift for my girlfriend, so I'm going to be not having any of these videos edited so that she can take a break from that for a while. Don't worry, I'm also getting her real gifts. Don't worry about that. After the 12 days of Christmas are over, we're going to take a little bit of a break and come back on January 14th. So look forward to that. Hello, Internet. My name is the Golden Stalfos, and today I'm going to be kind of redoing a video I've done before. So a long time ago, before I had like audio quality, I made a video about what it would be like if Naruto and Goku, started fighting, but with the twist that they're the same age during each fight. See, because obviously an adult Goku who's been to other planets and fought, super monsters in other dimensions and shit, obviously that's not a fair fight for 17-year-old Naruto who barely understands shit. But how does 12-year-old Goku fare against 12-year-old Naruto? We see both of these characters at that age. How do they stack up? And the thing is, it's really easy to compare them actually, because we see Goku at 12, 15, and 18 across the original run of Dragon Ball, and we see Naruto at 13, 15, and that's kind of it. He's 18 in the last, so I guess you can count that. Admittedly, Naruto is a little bit funkier because he goes from, barely being able to murder Kakuzu to throwing hands with Madara in like 3 months. Keeping in mind, of course, that when he had 2.5 years of off-screen training with Jiraiya, he went from barely losing to Sasuke to really badly losing to Sasuke. So, yeah. So we're going to have them fight evenly at 4 different ages, since we have 4 very well-defined age groups for Goku, and we'll just try to make Naruto fit. So we've got them around age 12, around age 15, around age 18, and the final bonus round around age 25. So let's start with when they're really little kids. Now at this point they both have a fairly diverse arsenal. Goku has the power pole, the flying Nimbus, he can use the Kamehameha, and I guess you can give him Ozaru if the conditions are right, but it's not really relevant. Meanwhile, Naruto has Shadow Clones, Rasengan, a fucking knife, and oh yeah, a giant goddamn toad monster that's capable of fighting tailed beasts. Now, granted, his ability to summon Gamabunta is pretty inconsistent in the story, and he doesn't use it against Sasuke, even though that would have ended the fight. Sasuke would not have escaped the valley at the end if Gamabunta was on the battlefield. So I guess you can say there's 2 versions of this fight. One where Gamabunta gets summoned and Naruto auto wins, and one where Gamabunta doesn't get summoned, and it's actually kind of interesting. And I think the main deciding factors are 2 things. 1, who can land their special attack first, and 2, can Naruto trick Goku enough to deal with the fact that he's woefully outmatched in terms of power? Now, don't get me wrong, Naruto's pretty strong even at this early point in the story, but Goku is an absolute monster, even from a child. And to clarify, this battle is Naruto from the valley at the end versus Goku from right before the first 3-year time skip, right? He's already fucking fought Master Roshi to almost a draw in the World Martial Arts Tournament. He's already climbed up Korin's tower and fought, the entire Red Ribbon Army. He's a monster. In terms of speed, strength, durability, punching power, he absolutely outclasses Naruto in all of those by at least 3 times, probably more than that. Now that said, I don't think he could take more than 1 Rasengan and still keep fighting. He could probably take 1 and be, okay, but pretty damaged. But he couldn't take 2. I don't think you could take 2. On the other hand, I don't think Naruto could take even 1 Kamehameha blast, right? So basically, in order for Naruto to win, he has to make heavy use of his clones in order to trick Goku into wasting energy on Kamehameha Blast that won't hit him. And then he has to land the Rasengan probably twice. We know that a kunai isn't going to do anything because we've seen axes break against Goku's skull before, and bullets bounce off of his skin without hurting him. So the Rasengan is really the only weapon in Naruto's arsenal at this point that could do anything to Goku. And since the Rasengan is a melee attack and the Kamehameha is a ranged attack, and I think it's fair to say that at least at this point in the story, the Kamehameha would be a much more powerful attack, I think Goku has the edge if you take Gamabunta out of the fight. If you give Naruto the option to summon Gamabunta, it's over. Stop. Total stop. But otherwise, I think Naruto is fighting an uphill battle and he's unlikely to be able to pull it off. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's more difficult for him to win than it is for Goku to win in this scenario. Round 2 is going to be Goku right before his second time skip versus Naruto. Just for the sake of keeping things interesting, we'll say Sage Naruto before the war. Now, you might initially think that Goku has no chance of dealing with Sage Naruto, but keep in mind, this is Goku after his battle with King Piccolo. He's already absorbed the Ozaru form into his base by drinking the special mystic water shit, and he's got a whole bunch of extra training under his belt. He swam halfway across the world in a day at the beginning of this arc, which is just nonsense. So I would say that Goku definitely has the edge in terms of raw power and all of his other, physical stats, but he seriously loses out in terms of technique. The Kamehameha may be better than the Rasengan, but I don't think it's better than the Rasen Shuriken. And now Naruto has the ability to throw that. And Gamabunta isn't an auto-win anymore because, taking the Ozaru into himself means that he can, kind of compete with Gamabunta. By the way, the reason I didn't bring up Ozaru versus Gamabunta is because Ozaru is stupid crazy mode, and therefore Gamabunta wins, because obviously if two beings are of similar scale and one of them can think and the other one can't, the thinking one is the one who's gonna win. Also, he has a big ass sword and can spit fire. Like, come on. So now at this stage, if Naruto were to summon Gamabunta or Gamakichi or any of the other toads, it wouldn't be like a complete one-sided thing. Goku could probably take them out with a Kamehameha Blast, but that would cost him a lot of energy, and he's up against a guy who can multiply and is not as strong as him, but in a similar weight class. And also, Goku has no way to deal with the Rasen Shuriken. Like, maybe you could argue that his base durability is high enough, but, I kind of doubt it. The Rasen Shuriken puts fucking energy needles in between your cells to rip them apart at the cellular level. I don't think Goku can handle that at this stage in his life. It's also worth noting that Naruto has a significant advantage in terms of height and reach if it comes down to that, which it did come down to that in several fights in Dragon Ball, so I don't know. Overall, I think Naruto probably takes the win. He doesn't have an insta-win card anymore, and he isn't, really competing with Goku in terms of most of the physical attributes, but he's at least close enough, and he has a huge advantage in terms of technique. Even things that Goku would normally use, like, say, the after image, probably wouldn't work, because Sage Mode can just detect people's emotions and sense where they are that way. Kurama senses people's emotions. Sage Mode senses, energy signatures. The point is he has sensory shit now, so he doesn't have to worry about his eyes being tricked. Plus, Naruto can really spam out the Rasen shurikens, and like I said, Goku can't withstand those. He has no chance. There's nothing he can do about that. He's just gonna get shredded. He's a bit stronger than Naruto at this point, but not strong enough to power cliff that kind of shit. Like, he's just gonna die. And granted, maybe one good Kamehameha Blast would be enough to finish off Naruto, but Naruto has a lot more ways of getting around that. He can put up decoys, he can substitute, he can just fucking move 2 feet to the left, And granted, Goku can also be evasive to avoid getting one shot by the big scary attack, but one, he's not as smart about that, and two, I don't know that he necessarily would have the ability to dodge that attack. At least not as frequently as Naruto can throw it out. And also, if he is able to dodge it when it's thrown, Naruto can just get him into melee range and then use it, because it's still possible to use it as a melee attack. Alright, on to round 3. So, round 3 is really embarrassing. Goku loses. He just flat out loses. He's not even close. Like, Naruto post-war arc is an insane monster on a scale that Goku has no chance of competing with. None whatsoever. It's not even an issue of technique anymore. Naruto just outclasses him in terms of ability several times over. 6-Pass Sage Mode is an insane amp, and there's just no way that there's competition between these two at this point. Post-war arc, Naruto stomps every version of Goku until Super Saiyan. On that note, the reason I picked Goku age 25 is because that's when he unlocks Super Saiyan. And so the bonus round, now you might notice that 25 is during Naruto's time skip. He's off screen during that time. So for the sake of this fight, we're just going to take a theoretical prime version of Naruto. We saw his performance in the last. We've seen his performance in Boruto. And it was kind of implied that he'd let himself go from whatever his prime was during Boruto. But it's also very clear that he's way stronger in Boruto than he was in the last. So, something doesn't add up there. So let's just assume he really did let himself go by the time Boruto starts, and his prime around age 25 was double his abilities in Boruto. We'll just go with that. He could solo Kaguya as opposed to needing help. I mean, he basically soloed Toneri, and that, kind of the same deal, but whatever. And just for the sake of making this kind of fair, we're going to throw in Baryon mode, and we're going to make it infinite, because it doesn't make a difference. That's how OP Super Saiyan is. Super Saiyan is a 50 times amp on a character who is already able to blow up planets without thinking about it. To use the power levels, which are dumb and non-linear and don't make any sense, but whatever, you need a power level of 10k to blow up a planet in Dragon Ball, and Goku's first entry into Super Saiyan is 1.5 million. And the Baryon amp is also pretty insane. It takes him from needing a lot of help to compete with a weaker version of Ishin to being able to fight Ishin by himself and kick his ass 6 ways to Sunday. But still, it's not as big of an amp as Super Saiyan, and even with that, I really don't think he would have the power to hurt Goku very much. Now, if we were talking about Sasuke in his place, you know, Sasuke has a lot of weird abilities. You know, he can steal souls and shit like that. Like, you know, sure. If you assume that Naruto at some point learned the Reaper Death Seal, even though we never see him learn anything like that, and we have no reason to think he could, then sure he could pull out a tie with that. But beyond that, I don't think he has anything that competes with the raw power that Goku's putting out. He just doesn't. And of course, that also extends to any further versions of Goku, right? Like, this is the weakest version of Super Saiyan Goku. You know, I don't want to downplay Naruto. Like, he's definitely big. And, you know, Naruto characters have been planetary for a while. But there's still a big gulf between Naruto and Goku in this instance. And I think that gulf in power makes the difference. Because I don't think Naruto really has any kinds of hacks that would overcome that gulf. So yeah, that's how it is. Let me know in the comments down below how you feel about these various matchups, and I'll see you in the next life. Laters. Hey, Endcard here. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Like, seriously though, please subscribe. I have like no subscribers. It's sad. If you want to find me on other social media stuff, you can do that at the Golden Stalfos on basically everything. Links to that are in the description, as well as to some charities I like but am obviously not affiliated with. I also have a Patreon if you like me so much that you want to give me money, though obviously only do that if you have money to burn, and if you do have money to burn, they're the charities I mentioned before. They probably need it more than I do. Mad ups to my girlfriend for doing all the editing for these videos. It's a really big help. Oh, and I occasionally stream on Twitch, so follow me there so you don't miss it. I don't have a formal schedule because when I tried to have a formal schedule, I couldn't keep to it. So, oh well. Okay, thanks. Bye.